Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about why meta ads are the most underutilized B2B SaaS channel and why so many B2B SaaS founders are missing out not using them or the case study funnel in particular. And I'll be covering this topic as someone who has generated mid-8 figures in new revenue for different startups and having booked over 3,000 product demos by now in over 100 different niches. Look, I've tested every marketing growth hack strategy, you name it, there is in the book. Cold email, cold calling, LinkedIn outbound, LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn content, SEO, programmatic SEO, and many more. And right now, I am using the case study meta ad funnel with every single startup I work with. Why? Because to this date, I have not seen so many startups in different niches have such high success rate with the effort that they are putting in, which is not as much if you're comparing it with cold email, grinding the LinkedIn account farm and stuff like that. So look, the first one is founders think that their buyers live on LinkedIn and search on Google the whole day, but most check Instagram and Facebook in bed, on lunch, and throughout the entire day. And this is a misconception that our buyers are not on Meta, and like I'm not sure I want to spend the whole 15 minutes talking just about that, but look, this has 3.5 billion people, and as much as you might be thinking that, oh, you're selling to this LinkedIn-ish type audience, with meta ads over numerous tests we've done, it's just cheaper cost per result. And while everyone spends 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn, they then spend 2 to 4 hours a day checking in with family or friends on Instagram and Meta and Facebook, and that's how you just get in front of so many more people. Plus the user base is like billions of users more. Then the fastest feedback loop, and I love this one because you find a winning formula in weeks and not months or years. Not even comparing this with SEO, where you can spend months and months heading in the wrong direction basically, and I've made this mistake with few of my businesses in the past. And here in 10 days you know which angle works best for you. With meta ads we can test 9 positioning angles on the same week as we're launching and find what messaging drives most demos and sales within the first month, and then we just double down on that one, reinvesting the most revenue. So while other channels take 2, sometimes 6, 12 months for you to start seeing the output, here I have so many clients who are getting more meetings than they had in the whole quarter before we launched, just in the first 2 weeks of them starting to run them. So the case study ad funnel in particular is my favorite, since for mid and high ticket products, it allows to hit the first 1 to 3 million ARR benchmark quickest. Now, your customers are there, and I cannot like stop talking about this to so many people because, oh, we sell to enterprise insurance companies. Look, they do check on their family on Facebook and browse Instagram during lunch. I implemented cold email, LinkedIn outbound, LinkedIn ads, cold calling for over 150 startups. Founder success rate with Meta is the highest. Why? Because if you know what you're doing, it's impossible for you to not get qualified meetings. The question is not whether you can or cannot get meetings, but whether you are able to get them for the customer acquisition cost that is relevant to your business, so that if your cost per lead meets the benchmarks, then you can sustainably scale from there. And why different founders reach out to me is, even though they run some ads or they ran them in the past, the business model itself was not working with their numbers sufficiently, and that's what I help them fix. So again, the question is not whether you can or can't, but at what cost you are getting the meetings or conversions. Inside SaaS Camp, I give founders all the winning ad templates and frameworks on day one, so they can bypass wasting 6 figures on trial and error and make their unit economics work straight away. And here I have this beautiful video, which is just one of the recent examples where we implemented this case study ad funnel with one of my clients. And these are just all the meetings they booked over the course of few months, and they have added more than 90K in MRR using it already, around 60-70% profit margin, bootstrapped, like minimal angel check when starting the company. It's very not frequent that you find examples like that, and it feels awesome having contributed to such a cool story, and I've got so many more of those. Then you can choose to speak to the most interested prospects, and this is a big one because I know how terrible it feels when you're putting so much effort getting these LinkedIn meetings, but even though they might be people with money, unless you're getting meetings with prospects who are interested in a solution like yours, oftentimes it's just waste of time. Because fine, if you are selling something above 100K annual price tag, sure, a lot of relationship building included is involved, but there are just so many companies which are looking for your solution right now for you to be wasting your entire work schedules chasing and convincing skeptical buyers. It's irrelevant, because imagine how much easier it would be to scale your company if out of 10 meetings that you get booked, you have 7 of them come to your meeting prepared, having all the context about what you do, how you can help them, and having the information about some similar companies you helped in the past. Well, no doubt you're gonna be closing 2 times, if not 3 times, the number of leads. And that is exactly what allows us to scale companies quicker than from alternative channels. Because when people come to the meeting to you rather than you being following up on them for weeks and weeks to finally get them into this call, look, you just have so much more leverage in a conversation, and it just allows you to sell so much easier and get them onboarded. Because I'm sure you've noticed this in your business already, that you had those types of buyers that came in, sent you the annual contract invoice within like few days, and then at the same time there are so many prospects you had in your pipeline who required weeks, if not months, of convincing, asked for all the discounts, all the payment plans, and all stuff like that. And I mean, there is not much explanation for me to do for you to understand getting which type on your calendar is going to allow you to hit this 1-3 million ARR sooner. Here, by adding filtering mechanisms into your funnel, you can get the leads who are looking to implement something you have right now. This leads to much quicker sales cycles and much quicker company growth. That's one of the things I show inside SaaS Camp, where I implement the ad-driven GTM strategies for B2B SaaS founders so they can, again, hit this 1-3 mil sooner. And then once it works forever. Yes, you may need to add new creatives here and there, but unlike outbound lists, where your good months end when the good lead lists end, here you need to find winning messaging once. And then after you have a winning creative and winning copy, you just make different iterations of it as long as you want to run the company. And thanks to 3.5 billion users, and like LinkedIn ads, here you can leverage one channel to get into 8-figure range for your annual revenue. And last but not the least, it is the fastest time to money across all types of campaigns I think I have run with people. Closest comparison could be LinkedIn outbound campaign, which is sent to conference type lead list. So there was one of the tactics where, imagine you scrape the event attendees. Let's say you sell something like insurance software for insurance companies, and you find an event where all the insurance companies are going, and you send an outbound campaign saying, hey, so you're also coming to this conference, how about we connect about X and Y? And using this intro, you're able to get many meetings with them. Cold email, look, so many updates have been there in 2024, increasing the barrier of entry. And if you are keen to fight all this Outlook and Gmail restrictions every month, if you're willing to spend weeks and weeks like dialing in your infrastructure, yes, for some niches it makes sense, but it's just, look, even with one founder inside the program recently, we implemented both of them, and then he told me, Denis, did I just spend 10x the effort to get 10 times fewer meetings? And I mean, the answer is yes, because I wish I learned it sooner, that if you learn how to do platform compliant growth methods rather than trying to go try to fight against some new Outlook / Google update and build up your internal infrastructure for sending these emails this and that way. Look, Meta long term wants you to win, and that's why they've been developing the algorithm for God knows how many years, so that whenever you, for example, even discuss certain topic with your friend, then in the next 30 minutes, surprise, you see a very relevant offer shown to you on Instagram. And I know we both had these experiences, so I don't need to go through this much. Once your account is set up, you get campaigns live within 3 hours. Half of founders I work with get first qualified bookings within 48 hours, allowing them to begin closing sales within the first or second week of launch, sales coming in. Inside my private Telegram channel, I show examples of how I help teams fill their pipelines and get to 1-3 mil ARR. So you can check the link in the description and see yourself, because there I also put different like backend breakdowns on how we implemented with them to just get cooler and cooler results. Appreciate you watching this one, and talk soon.